Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 127 today and we are back for two massive games in the context of our season. We play Liverpool, who are the runaway leaders in the Premier League at the moment, as it looks like a title chase is some way off just yet. And then we host Shakhtar in our first home Champions League game, and in both of these fixtures today, you'll be getting a first glimpse on camera at our brand new stadium in Hemel Hempstead. So if you're looking forward to that and seeing what's been going on in recent weeks, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. We're well into our second season with Helsingborg now. You can find that rebuilding save in the eye above, as well as the head coach, the Twitch channel, the football podcast and merchandise store. And you can support the show as a channel member by clicking the join button down below. But let's get straight into this, because we've had real disappointment and frustration off camera after what had been a really good start to the season prior. We had a good transfer window, we had a decent start for the first time, and now things have just started to tail away. And considering the start to the season we've got, we knew it was a tough first 3 months. The games that we've dropped points in and the games that we've been frustrated in make it all the more annoying. We'll then focus on Jurgen Klopp and his dynasty at Liverpool, but for now, let's start with the schedule, because there are some positives on here, but there's a lot of annoying moments. Not least, the 1-0 defeat at home to Crystal Palace straight after the international break. Couple of injuries again, couple of players not quite up to scratch. And the thing that made it worse, similar to one of the ones we had in yesterday's episode with Helsingborg, is just the dominance we had. Palace scored one of their 2 shots on target. We had 20 shots, 8 on target, over 1.5 expected goals, 62% of the ball, more corners, less fouls, better pass completed. Everything's better for us, apart from the fact that we didn't get the goal. But we did bounce back in style. We got a 3-1 win at Wolfsburg in our first Champions League game. If we can beat Shakhtar at home today, I start to feel very confident that we'll be in the Champions League after Christmas. Ricketts got 2, Arthur and Do got 1 there, as we bounced back in style from that weekend defeat. We then got a 1-1 draw away at Tottenham Hotspur. An early Dominic Chauvin goal was cancelled out at the hour mark. I mean, we were battered for the most part here. Again, we went to the 4-1-3-2, a slightly more defensive tactic, but it got us a point, and that's all we can ask for. We then almost went out to Norwich in the Carabao Cup, but they're a sort of rising star team at the moment, so we should be really pleased to get through in that game. We drew 0-0 on the night. Josh Hayes was incredible, the sub-keeper. And then on penalties, it was one of the worst standard shootouts you ever see. Both teams missed their first one. Norwich missed all of their first 3. And we ended up going through by 3-1 on penalties. So a good win for us there. And again, if all else fails, if we can win a trophy, we can start to build that cabinet up again. And that is the most important thing to determine success for us in this save. We've got lower league opposition in the 4th round in the shape of Millwall. We've got tough games coming up, the likes of Chelsea, Atletico and Arsenal, all back-to-back later this month. So this week becomes very important for us. 3 home games, 2 in the league, 1 in the Champions League. Let's head into the first of them and see if we can make something special happen. Because other sides are dropping points. If we take aside Liverpool, no one's really running away with it. And ultimately our objective has to be first get into Europe again, then try and get into the top 4 again. So with Liverpool at home, we get a real chance to show how good we are. But the truth is, this could also go very wrong very quickly. We made a lot of changes in the midweek game in the Carabao Cup, so everyone should be fresh for the first time in a while. Let's go and pick our 11, and we'll be back in a moment in front of a sold-out crowd at our new stadium in Hemel Hempstead. So unfortunately, a few little fitness and fatigue issues, which means that Tyrese Ricketts isn't on the bench, nor is Louise or Peebles. But otherwise, we're as strong as we can be. And our first 11, I think for the first time this season, is entirely first choice, although you could argue Ricketts might be in there. So our starting team today is John Moore in goal. We've got Chauvin and Delgado, the fullbacks, with Zaruk and Hannafan centre-half. Arlan and Du, Moreira and Mailton make up the midfield diamond, with Ricker and Torres up front. We might go more defensive later if we need to, but at home, I want to try and take the initiative. So let's go and get into the first game of the day. This is going to be tough against what seemed to be the best team in the league. 10 changes for us as we face Jurgen Klopp's star-studded side, which does have a bit of experience in actually. Trent Alexander-Arnold still there, as well as Reina and Mbappe. On the bench they've got Luke Thomas too, so there's a few names you'll recognise here. And it's a side with Jurgen Klopp now, 20 years at the helm. He's doing the Sir Alex Ferguson. He's won 6 Champions Leagues, 6 Premier Leagues, 3 FA Cups, a Europa League, loads more as well. I mean, he's just been absolutely dominant for them. But he's getting back on top of United after a few years behind. So we're going to try and stop their progress here. We're going to get the lads motivated. Well, 2 or 3 of them anyway. And into the first half we go. Through the tunnel interview. Can we cause a shock? Or Liverpool keep improving their brilliant goal difference? Well, it's been a quiet first 15 minutes as we come back with Liverpool on the front foot. Esedin picking the ball up on the right and getting towards the byline. The visitors put the ball in as Chauvin just loses out at the back post. But it's headed over the bar. The stadium is looking glorious, that should be said. The corner's not yet filled in, so I'm guessing there's a lot more room for expansion. But 2 tiers across the board, the box is in the middle. Oh, it looks lovely and sharp. As Arthur Ndu holds the ball up here to Mailton. Had a really poor few games recently, but that one just tipped wide. It was a brilliant effort, and the goalkeeper had his best for Liverpool. Can we create something from a set piece? As Mailton puts it in himself to the back post, Ricker loses out in the air. It's cleared as far as Arthur Ndu on the left-hand side. Can we make something of it, or is it going to peter out? It's all the way back to the keeper, John Moore. Don't know why we needed to see that bit. We have just about been the better side. With a quarter of the game gone, there's nothing to show for it. That's going to help, though, because Hemel Hempstead Town have just got Liverpool down to 10 men. Valenzuela sent off for a silly second yellow. Now I want to get on the front foot. Please make it count. We're going to set the mentality to positive. We're going to try and take advantage. Chelsea already 4 up in their game against Southampton. And we looking for our first here against Liverpool. We're not going to have a better chance to beat them than this. But they could well end up showing their title credentials. As they get to half-time, we've still only had 1 shot on target since the man was sent off. And I can't see where we're winning from at the moment because we're not creating an awful lot at all. And at the hour mark, I'm actually going to go back to balance because we haven't had a shot in this half. It's really quite frightening with 20 minutes gone. So we're going to make a couple of changes. We've got an injury to Arthur Ndu who just cannot stay fit at the minute. Coronel is on for him. I mean, what on earth's happening to some of these stars up there? Ricker's having a poor game. Mailton the same. German Moreira the same. I'm going to take Arlan off on a yellow just so the ref doesn't even it up. De Vitter's on for him. And Torres is the one I'd look to, but we've not got Tyrese Ricketts. So I'm going to leave it at 2 subs for now. I'm going to try and encourage the lads and get something out of them, but just not really had a reaction in this game. It's been weird. As Chauvin gets the ball on the right, I guess maybe Liverpool are doing what we did at, say, Old Trafford and at Spurs and just trying to hold out for the draw, but even then, both of those sides had chances. As Delgado goes down the left to Moreira, 3 in the middle. This has to be the one. Carlos Torres puts it in. And who cares if you play vintage attacking football? As long as you get the goal, as long as you win, the job's done at the end of the match. That's all that matters to us. It's 1-0. It's a big goal. I'm going to take off Chauvin for Danilo Jose at right back as he always struggles for fitness. We tend to go. We are getting on top now. We just want to cling on. Well, 1 minute plus stoppages left. I'm looking at what we can do tactically. We're going to have to put the time wasting on. I know we're playing 10 men, but we've seen this go wrong before. So we're going to be more disciplined. We're going to slow it down. And we're just going to hope that we can hold on. I don't want to get caught out of position. Because even with 10, Liverpool will throw men forward now. And this could be an absolutely pivotal win. As Delgado's got it on the left-hand side. Don't you go too far upfield. Finds Moreira and Torres. And now we've got a 3-on-2 because they've thrown their men up in support. And Mailton puts his shot straight into the keeper's arms. I've no idea what he was trying to do with it. But regardless, we're going to hold on. And Liverpool offered nothing. I know the red card was a massive help to us there. But it's a good win. It's a solid performance defensively. And it's 3 points that edge us back towards the top of the Premier League table. Now the focus turns to the Champions League. Our first ever Champions League game at home. And it's going to be at our new stadium. I'm looking forward to it immensely. We'll be back in a moment for the Shakhtar match. Fitness test time ahead of the Shakhtar match. And as always with these sorts of sides, in leagues that aren't loaded, the biggest sides in those nations, they're always basically a Legends team of mid-30s. But we have got one reunion, which we can enjoy. Because Shakhtar's team, if we get out the under-18s, have got Sedomir Panjovic. Anyone remember him? Good midfielder for us, played 28 league games for the club. Solid player, now at Shakhtar Donetsk. So we'll be looking forward to coming up against him. Aside from that, you can see all of the big names are in there. Mikhail Damsgaard, Moise Kean, Nicolo Zaniolo. There's some absolute superstars about. Sure, he's real, the goalkeeper, he is indeed. Ukrainian international, as is Tanguy Koulibaly, a French international. I mean, it's class throughout, but is very old, bar 2 or 3. What are the youngest players in that side, actually? They've got a couple that are a bit younger. The 19-year-old on loan's a good striker, but can't finish. Young centre-half on loan, Brazilian player, should be pretty good. But I would expect to win this, and I'm hoping we can get away with rotating a bit, because we've got a big league game at the weekend. We need to keep everybody fresh. So let's get through and select our lineup. We'll be back in a moment to run through it. And here is our slightly calculated gamble. We've gone for quite a few changes today ahead of this one. I've tried to take out as many with a heavy match load as possible. The exception of De Vita, who comes in, and Ricker, because I can't take both strikers out. Harrison will though come on for him if we're winning at some point. The rest of the side, though, looks like this. We've got John Moore in goal. Chauvin and Delgado still the fullbacks, with Dura in alongside Hanifan as centre-half. De Vita and Coronel and Carlos Martin all come into the midfield. They play alongside German Moreira in the diamond. And then Ricker and Ricketts are up front. Ricketts returning from his knock. Out of the squad entirely are Mailton, who's been struggling for form and got a heavy match load. Torres, who again, we need to keep fit. And Danilo Jose, who's got a little bit of a knock. So there are going to be some options on the bench. We'd like to ideally be able to replace Moreira and Ricker later on in this game. But whether the match situation will allow that, well, let's go and find out. Because Shakhtar still got some very good players. It's just whether they can do it for the whole 90 minutes. So 5 changes for us today, and this is probably the more cautious rotation we're talking about, rather than the 11 we used to make every midweek in the Europa League. In terms of the visitors, all those big names are in there, and Panjovic is starting. So we'll be keeping our eye on our former man. He had that big long shot rating, don't forget, so don't be surprised if he puts one in the top corner. We already had that with Callum Hazeman in the FA Cup last year. And talking of him, at Peterborough, David Wilson out on loan there, having an absolute barnstormer at the minute. So fingers crossed, we're going to get a lot of good players back this summer. For now though, we're focused on beating Shakhtar. If we can make it 2 out of 2, if Wolfsburg could get a result against Atletico, and maybe we got a chance at topping the group, as King gives the ball away from a header to Ricker. Carlos Martin in for a chance as number 10, finds Tyrese Ricketts. He's forced left to Delgado. First choice defence bar 1, so we've still got a lot of strength going forward, as Delgado gets to the byline, delivers to Tyrese Ricketts. I think it deflected past the keeper on its way in, but who cares? We're 1-0 up. It's a really positive start. And if against these two sides we can rotate a few and still win the game, then I really can't ask for anything more. As we're back again with 20 on the clock, playing out from the back with Moore to Dura. Maybe unfortunate not to be first choice this season. He's not much worse than Zaruk, as it's chipped forward to Tyrese Ricketts again. 2 in the box, Martin one of them. Up to Ricker at the back post though, loses out in the air, and it's cleared as far as Chauvin. He's really improving now. You saw he's up to 4-star, one of the very best players at the club, and he gives it back to Hanifan. Charging forward into space to Coronel and Martin. Moreira finds Ricker, he's 1-on-1. Oh, he's got to score that. Mario Ricker, you don't normally miss those. He is in a little bit of a goal drought by his standards, but I would have expected him to put that one away. 1-0 with 25 gone, and at the moment we look pretty comfortable. And we're back again as we've nicked the ball just inside our own half as Ricketts goes back to Dura. Good hold-up play there from the centre forward. Finds Delgado on the left. And again, look how many are committed forward. That's the difference with Moreira in that attacking duty. And he's got himself the assist there as well. Carlos Martin with his pace making the run in behind. And that's the good thing now. If Mailton's out of form, you bring in Martin who does that. Coronel can come in for undo. We've got so many different options. And Coronel, one of those, is taking the free kick now. Not the perfect angle on the edge of the D. Maybe a little close to get it up and under. As Atletico take the lead against Wolfsburg. Could be 6-6-0-0 in this group. As Miguel Coronel, right in the top corner. Do you know what? I've not seen many of them in this FM. Where they go opposite to wall side. So he's on the left side just, and he goes outside, keeper's side, beats him in the top corner, and it's 3-0 at half time. We're going to be able to make changes, and I might even make them very early on in the second half. Really good display, the lads have done well. Now let's make sure we don't do what we did against PSG. Well, 10 minutes gone in the second half. Chauvin has picked up a slight knock at right back, so Case Striker will come on for him, and then the other two I wanted to rest are Moreira, who will come off for Luis, and will also bring on Harrison for Mario Ricker. So that is about as strong as we can go. Miguel Coronel switches to the centre midfield role. We've got 35 minutes. We've seen no threat from Shakhtar. They've only had one shot on target all game. 20 minutes left on the clock. Coronel with the corner kick. He's had a really good match here. It's headed away by one of the youngsters, Arcelino. Brought back down by Carlos Martin. Is Coronel onside? I don't think he is. I immediately thought the flag's going up. It stayed down because of the VAR rules. Ricketts puts it in at the near post. Keeper probably should have saved it, but this should be disallowed. It is. The hand goes up from the referee. Got fooled by that once last season, but this time it's disallowed. 3-0 it remains, but look, we're going to win this comfortably. And with the rotation we've had, I'm absolutely delighted. As it looks like, despite a scare, Atletico Madrid have got a late winner against Wolfsburg. We're on the front foot though as we head into 3 minutes of stoppage time. And Carlos Martin, for some reason on the free kick instead of Coronel, just chips it straight into the keeper's arms. A long ball downfield, won by Hanifan. Louise, the youngster, turns on it and finds Martin. Got support on the right, but decides to go alone. Got bags of pace and space to run into too. He's got 2 in the box, now 3. It's across the box, is saved by the keeper, but not convincingly at all. And what did we say in the summer? Is Danny Harrison going to be good enough to play in the Champions League? Well, he scored in his first appearance. I don't think he can answer the question more resoundingly. It's 4-0 at the end. It's a lovely bit of gloss on it, that. Carlos Martin, brilliant. Danny Harrison getting a Champions League goal. And we're going to tell everyone that's very good work, because we couldn't have asked for more at the start of the night. We've got a few rested for the Villa game at the weekend too. Things looking a bit better than they were a week ago. What I didn't realise though was that Shakhtar had drawn with Atletico the first game, which probably isn't a good sign for Atletico because they were not a good side here tonight. Maybe it was at home and it was a very different atmosphere, I'm not sure, but we are now on 6 points, Atletico 4. The 2 games against them are going to be huge, aren't they? Probably in determining the group rather than qualification. But let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back, and hopefully one of those games can feature. As I've mentioned before, it's a little bit of a weird season this because it's very top heavy in terms of quality sides. We've got a big run from mid-November against sort of the mid-table and bottom half sides in the Premier League. If you combine that with the fact that we might already be through in the Champions League if we can beat Atletico at home, then I think we might have a chance at the top 4 again because we're staying in touch at the moment. The issue comes if we have to play our first team in those Champions League games. If we get a tough team in the Carabao Cup should we get through, and then we get towards City at the end of December. But for now, we're going to come back for the second Atletico game away from home. We'll show either Brighton or Sheffield United either side of that. And then we'll wait all the way to the end of December and show that big Premier League doubleheader with City and Chelsea. So if you're looking forward to that plan and you did enjoy this episode, a gritty win thanks to a red card at home to Liverpool and then a big emphatic one against Shakhtar Donetsk, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. Let me know in the comments where you think we're going to finish this season and what competitions we got the best chance of doing well in. And we'll of course find out the answers as the next couple of weeks progress. But in the meantime, you can find links to our other series with Helsingborg, the rebuilding job up in the eye above. There's also a link there to the head coach, the Twitch channel, the football podcast and the merchandise store. But a massive thank you for your incredible support. Above my head now is the second season of our Helsingborg save. And I'll see you again here next time for a trip to Atletico Madrid in a massive Champions League encounter.